Everybody's obviously a little bush from all this humping.
That's great. Go ahead, make your jokes, Mr. Jokey. Joke maker.
Come with me if you want to go.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Hey, this is Andre Gower from the Monster Squad and Wolfman's Got Nards, and you are listening to Metal Hand of God podcast with Bear Ass and Sheepicker.
Don't worry if you don't make it out alive. We'll give you your money back. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Metal Hand of God podcast. I am your host, Wayne, and with me, as always, is this fine gentleman,
the incomparable Rum Guy.
And today we have returning to us the man, the legend, Mr. Paul T. Taylor. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. And I just want to say, this is the legendary 666 episode, guys. We are on episode 666. When we started,
crazy.
When we did our first episode ever, I never thought we would get to this number.
That's
Thanks
fantastic.
to everybody listening. I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, how many listeners we've had over the years, how many countries. I wish I could say thank you in every one of those countries, but I will do it in as many as I can, starting now.
Go.
Thank you.
Good job, Rum. Good job.
Go. You're being...
So today we're going to do something special later on in the show. We're going to do something called The Fans Ask. And it's our first time doing this. What I did was I told a bunch of people that Paul was coming on the show and asked them to give me one or two questions that they would like to know from the gentleman himself. So I have a whole list of stuff, and some of it's really weird, but some of it's really cool. So,
Oh, good. I love the weird. Yeah.
Oh, you'll like the weird stuff, man. Some of it's really funny.
Let me snort some cocaine real quick.
Sweet.
Now, hurry up. Get yourself straightened up for it.
I'm ready. Woo!
So, what have you been doing with all your stuff? We had a few minutes. We talked a little bit about you adulting a little bit at the beginning. So, how's things been going? How's auditions and all that good stuff?
Things are real good. I've been auditioning a lot for. I mean, when you consider what time we're at, like 2020 pandemic, 2021 pandemic, less work and stuff. Despite that, I've been auditioning a lot compared to a lot of people, which is, I'm very grateful for that, putting myself on tape for movies and TV shows and stuff. I haven't booked anything yet, but that's okay. At least I'm getting the opportunities, So
Absolutely.
that feels good. That feels real good. I feel like I'm making progress with my just the whole film acting skill set. Because I'm getting practice at it. I did just buy myself my first iPhone, so I'm going to be able to tape myself at home rather than relying on others. So I can really just do it as many times as I want, and I can get the audition exactly like I want it, and I can work on it and stuff. So I've got all the tools now to basically have a home studio where I can tape auditions and stuff. And so that feels real good. There were two things that I thought really would point me towards being a film actor. Not that I'm already not one, but you know what I mean. I want to be able to travel, and I want to be able to put myself on tape. And so I have the lighting, I have the backdrop, I have the camera, I have the this and that. I may still need to buy a separate microphone if I really want to get fancy, so everything really sounds good. But also the other thing I need is a reliable car. So I just bought myself a new car. I mean, it's new to me. It's not a new car.
Right.
That much money. But a lovely Go-Mobile, and I'm just so excited about it. It's like a luxury sedan. It's a grown-up car, and I feel really good when I drive it. So I'm like, okay, these were the two things that I said I wanted to do, and then I did them. So now, proceed. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in a really good place. I'm just in a really good place right now. You caught me at a good moment.
Yeah, so you accomplished the things you wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, you know, and you have people in your life, your family or friends or whoever, your therapist, who you're telling them these things you're thinking about and how much this is going to cost or that's going to cost, and you get pushback. And it's like, no, you don't know if I shouldn't even ask. I shouldn't even ask for advice, because then I get it and I don't like it. It's like, no, I need to go with my gut and do this because I know that it's good for my personal journey. So
Right.
I'm not saying you should spend money you don't have. I didn't do that. But, you know, I dipped into some savings that I didn't intend to dip into. But the pandemic, I haven't exactly been employed, you know, over the last year, almost a year, just because of COVID. I mean, there have been some jobs, but nothing like I was doing before.
Right.
So the income is reduced. That's all. But I'm fine. You know, I maybe we've talked about this before last time that we talked. But I really feel like I'm one of the most lucky people. I'm one of the luckiest people I've ever known. And I feel like the universe has always taken care of me. And I just wasn't aware of it, but now I am. And you can call it whatever you want to. It's the source, it's God, it's, you know, what the devil, it's whatever you want it to be. But it's this energy that connects all humans. And it's
Can I ask what the turning point was for you?
You mean as far as being aware of that?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Funny you should ask. It started when I was at a really, really fucked up low place. And it had to do with an impossible relationship that never would have even happened. And yet I allowed myself to fall in love. And it was absolutely ridiculous. You know, I'm single. They were married. I live in Texas. They live in New York. It was ridiculous. So when there was separation, permanent separation, anyway, I don't need to go into that. I started seeing a therapist. The therapist, blah 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 blah. It was the audition for Hellraiser Judgment. That's what it was. It was seeing that happen because I had already been working on manifestation, the law of attraction, all that stuff that I do believe in, that there's an energy that reacts to the universe reacts to the vibration that you have. A lot of people, you know what I'm talking about and agree, and it's like a spiritual journey or whatever. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think it's bullshit. I personally don't think it's bullshit because I've seen it happen. So, you know, coincidences that you just see what really happened. And it's like, that's not, I can tell you this whole thing. I can tell you this story right now. I'll tell it as quickly as I can, but I would be on my elliptical and I would be, you know, have my board up in front of me that says, I deserve, and then a blank line, I manifest my blah, 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 blah. I can't tell you what all was on it right now, but basically I was asking for more opportunities to do the things that make me happy, which specifically film acting. So I get this opportunity to audition for Hellraiser Judgment, and I'd been doing this for about 3 months probably, and then I got this opportunity, and for 5 minutes I just was saying to myself, wow, that's great. There's no fucking way I'm going to get this part. For about 5 minutes, then I looked myself in the mirror and I realized, wait, this is exactly the thing that I was asking for. So now what am I going to do with this opportunity? Am I prepared? Yes, I am. Let's make this the best audition I've ever done in my life. And lo and behold, I got the role. So when this happened, at the time, I was in a play called Martyr. And it was a play about evangelical, this kid who's in a Catholic school, or maybe it's it's a religious school, an evangelical school. He's a freak for the Bible, and I'm playing a very sort of creepy minister. Okay, you might say priest-like character. So then I get this opportunity to audition for Hell Priest. I take the opportunity, and while I'm on stage facing away from the action, because that's what we had to do when we weren't in a scene, we were on very uncomfortable pews facing away from the stage. And my personal prop that I had chosen was my dad's Bible that he had when he was alive, so that I could just sit there and act like I was reading it. Well, suddenly I have something to put in there, and I'm putting in the sides for my audition for the role of Pinhead, and also for the role of the Auditor, so that I could work on those while I'm doing this play. Anyway, you guys know that I obviously did very well in my audition. I got the role. I go out to LA to get my head cast done. That's when I first meet Gary Tunnicliffe. I go out there to get my head cast done so they can do the makeup. I'm staying with a friend of mine from Dallas, who I knew years before. He has an apartment there. I stay a couple extra days, and the day after we do the head cast, I say, hey, take me to a comic book store. So he drives me to a comic book store. I want to find a Hellraiser graphic novel, or any Hellraiser comics I can. So, because I'm so excited. I mean, I'm going to be Pinhead, So I find a Hellraiser graphic novel. There's only one in the store. I open it. The first page, there's this picture of a priest giving last rites to a prisoner on death row. You turn the page, the next picture, Pinhead breaks in through the window or wherever, and he destroys the priest. It was like, I don't know, the fact that I was playing a priest in a play. I got this opportunity to play the Hell Priest. I go out there, I get this Hellraiser novel. Here's a priest that's being destroyed by a Hell Priest. It was just all too crazy. And you can just call it a coincidence, but I think that it is. I know that it was the universe responding to my vibration and just saying, yeah, you're on the right path. This is good. This is fantastic. This is where you're supposed to be right now. All that kind of thing. So that's when it started, though. Isn't that weird? That's when it started. Was when I saw it happen.
I think that's really
when the opportunity came along to audition for the role.
Yeah, I think that's super
awesome,
cool.
because I'm in your corner. I believe exactly what you just said, and I think if you can visualize it, you can manifest it.
All that bullshit about the universe, the manifestation.
Well, you know what? I'll put it this way. You know what, guys? Look, I agree with you. I mean, it could be fate, it could be coincidence, it could be any of that stuff. But it's really fucking cool that the fact of you got cast from being a priest in a play, got cast to be Pinhead, to go pick up a comic book, and it all together in one spot. It's unbelievable. Like it's really fucking cool.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Like I dig shit like that. I think that's really cool, man. I honestly do think.
You know
that's
what
awesome.
I think it is? I think Alexa is listening in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, now that you have a fancy iPhone, what's going to happen now is anything you talk about or think, when you go look at your social media, all the commercials will be that.
So be careful. Be careful what you're thinking about or talking about in the privacy of your own home. Because bam, it's right there.
Your iPhone will be watching you.
That's hysterical.
It's gonna be like.
So Wayne, you got some questions for this man?
I do. Okay, so guys, we're gonna do what's called Fans Ask, or whatever, questions from fans, or we haven't figured out
it's a title in progress.
Yeah, we haven't figured out what we're going to call this yet, but it's with Mr. Paul T. Taylor. Are you ready for some of these? Are you ready for some of these?
People.
You like what?
Yes.
Pinhead people.
Yeah, well, this is from all over the place. They even got questions from the UK. We got questions from
That's
Germany. We've got questions from
We don't-
frickin' Iran. We got questions from everywhere.
We don't have that many questions, Rum. But anyway, so the first question is from
Ohio.
is from a guy by the name of Timmy the Man Timerson. He said,
nice. Tim Timerson.
yeah. He said, is there any crazy behind the scenes stories from the Hellraiser set that you could tell us?
Well, there's one particular. There are two of them that come to mind, but the one I'm going to tell that happened to me is, well, actually, no, there's two that happened. This is funny. The makeup guy had just finished gluing on all of my makeup. Done any of the airbrushing or anything, but he went to take a break, and I went back to the trailer, and it's a dark trailer with not very good lighting, and for the first time I'm able to get up close to the mirror really by myself and see, look at the pins and look at the thing and stuff. So I do that for a while. Then I sit down for a little while, and it's very cold, so I've got a coat on, and I'm just sitting there sort of meditating, just sort of being, wow, this is happening. And I get up and I stretch. I do a little stretch, and then I sort of do a little hop, and one of the pins gets caught in the vent in the ceiling, like the air conditioning heating vent or whatever, and it pops the tip of the pin off. And they're plastic, so thank God, but I just freaked out. This is the first time I had the makeup on, and I just thought, oh no, I've ruined everything. So I look real closely, and I see that I can see where it came off, and I immediately get down on the floor, and I don't know, I guess I used my cell phone, and I found it, and then I take it next door, and they glued it right back on. It was no problem, but that was just kind of a funny thing that happened. But the other thing that happened on the set, and this is crazy. It was always a thing with the Doug Bradley pinheads that there was at least one line, usually his entrance, I don't know. Anyway, there was always one line he would say, and smoke would come out of his mouth when he was saying it. And so I had started smoking anyway. Not a good idea, but I did because I wanted to lower my voice, which, as it turns out, it didn't matter because they did things to my voice anyway after we filmed it that completely changed it anyway. But I didn't know that was going to happen. And the other thing was, Gary really kind of wanted me to say "Evil seeks evil" with smoke coming out of my mouth. And so I started smoking, and it was also part of my therapy, just sort of getting into the darkness of the whole pinhead thing while I had the weeks to prepare. And so I told Gary that, yeah, I smoke now, so I can do this for you. And so the day that we go to shoot that scene, I just, I took a little puff and said, "Evil seeks evil." And Gary wasn't happy with what it sounded, how it looked. So he said, "No, try it again." And I tried it again. And he said, "No, okay, try some other ways. Just put it barely in your mouth, and then say it." And then just came out the poof. And then he said, "Well, just take a big drag and suck it way down there, and now say it." And nothing happened. And I started feeling really sick at one point. Gary could tell through the makeup. I mean, and I had full square contacts too. He could just tell. Maybe I was weaving. I don't know, wobbling. That he said, "Guys, we got to stop. Paul, you okay?" "No, I'm sick." So we had to stop filming. And we never got a take that he liked before. I just had to go outside. And it was my first day of shooting, and I thought, my career's over. I've ruined the shoot. I'll never work again. All these things, because I just got very, very upset, and I was having, so I was also sort of maybe having an anxiety attack on top of a nicotine overdose. And if you guys have ever had a nicotine overdose, it's worse than a caffeine overdose. It is. Your body is just, your lungs, it's just a fucking freak out. You're poisoned. You've poisoned yourself. So I don't know how long I was out there, but at one point Gary came out and goes, "You gonna be all right? We're gonna move on. We're not gonna go back to that scene. We'll do that again some other day." So we moved on and we finished the day. I still felt sick sort of the whole day. And then on my last day of shooting, we went back to it to get that. And one of the crew members said, "Here's a vape. I have it set down to 1 out of 5 or whatever. It's cherry flavored. Let's try it." So we did it a few times and it looked fine. But when you see the movie, there's no smoke on Evil Seeks Evil. But I have since realized in smoking, because I do actually enjoy smoking cigarettes. I'll maybe have one a day, maybe. I work on that line recently, Evil Seeks Evil. And the thing is, if you have smoke in your mouth and you say, "We'll tear your soul apart," there's plenty of mouth, there's plenty of vowels for that to come out through. But if you just go, "Evil seeks evil," there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Right.
It's not fair. You can't do it with those lines, with those 3 words.
So, okay, Mr. Timerson, I hope you enjoyed that one. So here's your second question. This is actually from my boss, Dr. Joe Dalgo. He said, with all the merchandise and things like that for Hellraiser, would you be opposed to a Pinhead Chia Pet? I think that's brilliant, but what do you think?
Well, it is brilliant. I just don't know how you would make that work, because you see it coming out of all these different holes in the face. I don't know how that works. Isn't it Chia Pet just out of the top, and then it gets all bushy, and then suddenly it looks like you look hair?
So you look like Pinhead with Bob Ross's hair.
Right. So a Pinhead pet, dude. A Pinhead pet.
I think any Pinhead merchandising that is produced would be epic. Especially an action figure that's actually of my Pinhead with a different costume. Right. That's what I really. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
This next question is from our friend Ryan Clapp. Ryan said, "How long did it take you to put on the makeup and costume?" He was just curious.
Oh, well, it's basically around 2 hours. I mean, from at least for Hellraiser Judgment. I know that when Gary Tunnicliffe was doing Doug Bradley's makeup, when the last couple of movies he did with Doug, it was so fast. He'd have Doug from makeup chair to camera ready in I think he said an hour 10, or maybe it was less than an hour. I don't remember right now, but my guy was not that practiced at doing Pinhead's makeup. So it was 2 hours with gluing it all on, and the airbrushing, and the putting in the contacts, and getting into costume.
Well, that's not too bad. I was thinking longer than that.
Not bad at all. I mean, I would be more than happy to have like a Doug Jones gig where you're in the makeup chair for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
For one scene. I would love it. That's the kind of, I would dig it so much.
That would be cool.
Anyway.
Okay, so our next question is from one of our new hosts, Mr. Josh Berger. He asked, if you could tear any celebrity's soul apart, who would it be? And why?
I have a number for you. 45.
45?
I don't think I need to say anything more.
Okay. All right.
45?
45.
Does this make sense?
Let me double check.
Right now we're on 46 in America.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. All right. There you go. All right.
Okay.
Totally.
That's what I was looking up.
I think that it speaks for itself.
Yes.
I think you're too late.
I think, yeah. Oh, there is no soul. That's right. There's no soul to tear apart. So
oh, that's great. That's great. Our next question is from Dangerous Dustin Gross. Dangerous Dustin does a food and review thing online, and he eats a lot of hot stuff. Like, he's like one of those guys that do all the pepper challenges.
He's
and
one
stuff.
of those extreme eaters.
Yeah, very.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's crazy stuff.
Very cool guy. He's a part of our show. He comes on and does some reviews for us every once in a while. But he's very nice, and
Cool.
he wanted to ask a question. He said, "What do you do to get into the mindset to play Pinhead?"
You just I don't know. No, you when you're Pinhead, you're a god. When you look like that, when you've been made to look like that, it is easy to put yourself in the mindset of a god but let's see. That's a hard question to answer simply, but I think what it is there is no fear. There are no consequences to your actions, although in judgment, well, there were, but yeah, it's you have to just go there and just be. It's not like you can relate your own life to being this demon or angel. So from a human standpoint, from where I went was that I just no fear.
Yeah.
So no fear, no consequence. Basically, Dustin, it's a millennial.
Yeah. But you know, I can see the way you're talking about. When you look that badass, you just are that badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't like the first day that I was in full costume and makeup. I had already done my homework as far as knowing the lines, knowing where Pinhead is emotionally in the film. Well, I looked like that. They opened the double doors for the first time, going into the warehouse where all the crew was standing around, and I hear audible gasps and people saying, "Oh my God!" And I was there. I mean, it was simply that much power, and I seized upon it. And then for the rest of the time, it just felt so glorious to have all of the power of God, basically.
That's awesome.
And the arrogance, though, that came from being a human with the power of God, or a former human with the power of God. You know, the costume and makeup play such a huge part in it. It's kind of like a lot of things, like if I've been in rehearsal for a play for a long time, but I'm still not quite there. The first dress rehearsal, sometimes if the costume designer or the makeup designer or whatever, just really, you see your look for the first time and suddenly you're there. It has a lot to do with it.
So kids, while you're listening, remember, live your life like you're Pinhead.
That's right. That's right. Except,
Exactly.
Except don't kill people in a club.
Good wind.
Yes, it is there.
So,
Well, your physical life.
our next question comes from Mad Mart Flanagan from the UK. It's a really great guy.
Cool.
Do you prefer real life action acting or the voice acting? And which does feel wait, which this is how he wrote it, so I'm trying to figure it out. Which gives you the best creative push? Is it the voice acting or the actual in the studio acting? Like, in a
My favorite is when a camera is involved. I want to do movies and TV shows more than anything else in the world. The voice acting is fun, but you're in a booth and there's no costumes and there's no sets, and it's just it's not as fun to me. I've been in a few. Like I did one thing a few years ago that was a lot of fun, especially when we had to redo it and I got paid again. But a feature called Rump. It's about Rumpelstiltskin. It's never come out. I don't know if it ever will, but that was great fun. It was great. The auditions were fun, and actually that was fun. What I'm not crazy about is sort of the God, I don't want this to cost me any jobs, but anime can be quite a grind, you know? If you're in a position where you have to make a lot of guttural, violent sounds of fighting and effort, and you have to do it again and again, or screams of pain, and you have to do it again and again and again and again because the director is a sadist and they're just not quite getting what they want, you know, and then you leave and your throat is just bloody.
Ripped up.
Yeah. But even if that were not the case, with me personally, I love film acting so much, and that's the art form that I really am focusing on, because that's the one that I want to get as good as I possibly can at doing.
Lamart also, he didn't. This is not a question. It was just part of the conversation we were having while he was giving me the question. Was he said you also played, you also voiced one of the better villains from Baki. He said. He's a huge anime fan, and he loved it. He said you were fantastic.
Is he talking about Amanai? He is.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one that tore me up.
He said it was fantastic. He said you did a amazing job.
I'm so glad. Wow, I've never heard anybody tell me that. I mean, I was at a convention a couple years ago where somebody came up to me and had me sign. I don't know if they were printouts of my character or if they were the actual DVD Blu-rays or whatever. Maybe they were that and had me sign them, and I was like, wow, my anime work.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's a huge fan of anime.
That's amazing.
I don't do a lot of it, so I kind of forget about it. So it's so good to know that I have that fan base and that he liked me in Baki the Grappler.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, you have the same thing as Peter Cullen. You know, Peter Cullen said exactly the same thing you did with when doing anime and things like that, of how it just rips up your throat and you get those directors.
Yeah.
And people, I really don't think people give the voice acting side enough credit a lot of times, because it still takes so much out of you, because you're trying to visualize, like you said, without the camera, without the props, without the costume. So you're trying to get that character without being that character.
It's also so technically difficult, because if you're going from Japanese to English, then it's been rewritten, but the mouth flaps, as they call the characters' mouths, are for the Japanese lines. So they've written these lines that are in English so that you have to match the mouth flaps of the Japanese, and it's just, oh my God. So it's not as creative as you might want it to be, you know? I did do one character a couple years ago who was a leper, and he had a mask over his face, so I didn't have to match any mouth flaps, and that was such freedom, and I could just concentrate on the character. You know, it was wonderful. Wow, I just got really excited for a minute, and I noticed my voice was pitched up. So
That's okay. That's all right. Mark. Yeah, Mark, that was a good question. Our next question comes from Erica Boudreau, and she says, wait, where is it at? I just lost the damn question. Way to go, Wayne.
God damn.
Who's your favorite movie killer of all time, besides Pinhead, of course? Like horror movie killer.
Yeah.
Stumped the man.
Tough question.
Stumped him.
There's so many good ones, and yeah, the one that came to mind immediately for me was actually Hannibal Lecter.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No one really brings that one up very much.
Or actually, more specifically,
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill is the one. Buffalo Bill. Definitely Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill.
Yes. There you go.
What a freak! I love him so much. I
Oh.
wish I'd played the role. I'd
fuck me.
I'd fuck me.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's such a great role.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah. It was such a crazy role.
He's so good, and what a god! He just and yeah. I can't say enough about that performance.
Nice.
I think when I thought Hannibal Lecter, I was actually just thinking Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Hannibal kills people, sure, but what I'm talking about is
that's psychological right there.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill.
So our next question comes from Dennis Highland. Actually, Dennis has a couple on there, but this is the first one he's done. He says, so stepping into such an iconic role as you have is not for the thin skin. It can even be a double-edged sword of sorts. Can you discuss any anxieties you may have had before you accepted this job?
I didn't have any Well, before I accepted the job is different than my first conversation with Tunnicliffe.
Gotcha.
I wasn't as aware of the Angry Rabid Angry Rabid fan base that might possibly be wanting to kill me because I wasn't Doug Bradley. I wasn't really aware of that before I accepted the role. All I knew was I've been offered Pinhead in a Hellraiser movie. That's all I knew. And I don't know if I had anxiety because I had so much excitement and I was so thrilled and I felt like I'd worked so hard to get the part and was so prepared for this challenge that I didn't really have anxiety.
Okay.
The anxiety came later after conversations with people
and breaking pins in your head and things like that.
Oh, I enjoy that. I've had that for my whole life, so that was good. That was a good thing. The anxiety came later. When Doug talked to me. I mean, when Gary Freudian slip. When Gary talked to me about, the drama, the drama behind Doug not doing the movie, and then going online and reading
all the bullshit.
All the bullshit from the people behind their, keyboards.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. Just grow up.
Yeah,
but,
this is a little bit off topic, but we had I'd posted the other show that we did earlier, like 2 months ago. That was the one that we did early, us when you were on last time, and I posted it in a horror group, and one of the guys posted it, and he says, "Yeah, he's pretty damn good. He's way better than the Walmart Pinhead we got in the last ones." I was like, wow. But that leads into this question, actually. Our next question is from Zach Cook. He said, how does it feel to be the third actor to portray such an iconic character? Like, how do you feel? How do you think the fans have taken you? I'm assuming is what he's trying to say.
Surprisingly well. It's taken a while for me to realize it, but and I also had to just get over any sort of apprehension and finally just go, well, if you don't like it, then shut up. Fuck you. I don't care.
That's the way to do it.
That's your opinion, and that's fine. There are certain people who've played Dracula who I didn't like. It's a movie monster. Who cares? It's a character. What was the question?
No, you did fine. That's perfect. You answered it great. This one is actually from our friend, the big one. His name is Rusty Cantrell. He's the big one on our show. He does our sports segment. He says, do you ever cosplay as Pinhead just to fuck with people?
No, I mean, if I was going to, I would have to look right, because if anyone knew it was me and I didn't look like I looked in the movie, as in I didn't have that professionally made and applied makeup that's glued to my head, I don't want to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to get a mask. I mean, people are like, you can get a Pinhead mask. I'm like, no, I can't, because anyone can get a Pinhead mask.
Right.
If I could look like that, if I were lucky enough to have played a character who wears a mask, or who has a makeup designer who made me an extra set that I could just slip over my head, that would be another story. And also, I mean, the costume is a one of a kind. So I would love to cosplay. I would love to have photo ops in costume, but I can't do that.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
He did the Doug Bradley experience a couple years ago at a convention, maybe more than one, but I think it was just once. I don't know.
No, he did it. He did it at 3.
At 3, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and that whole team came out and built him, custom made that costume for him, for his 60-something-year-old body, for his 60-something-year-old face. It's completely different. The makeup is not as easy when you have let's say you have less collagen in your face.
Yeah. It's
not as easy to apply the prosthetics. It's not as easy to look. You can't look like you looked. Although, if he were to appear in a movie again as Pinhead, people would love it anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's Doug Bradley. But yeah, I guess I answered the question and then I went on.
That's okay. That's all right. The next question is from Travis Sotard. He actually owns Omega Level Toys, a toy shop out here in New Orleans area. He said, "So
cool.
eating on a set and in costume must be a nightmare." He says, "What's your favorite snack and meal you've had when you endured the long, grueling shoots?"
Well, it's hard with the Pinhead makeup to eat because everything is covered in prosthetic, including your lower lip, which is a separate piece from the rest of your makeup. And if there's acid or oil in the food that you eat, it is going to destroy your lower lip. So you come back from lunch and it's like, sorry that my lip is hanging off of my lip. That happened once because we had ribs.
That's awesome.
Cutting it up and putting it in my fingers and then just dropping it down into my mouth. It like a little baby bird. It still didn't work. Apparently, Doug Bradley can eat pizza in the Pinhead makeup. I don't know how he does it, but
that's
I guess
awesome.
8 movies taught him how. I think that the best thing you can do is just stick to smoothies with a straw, and I don't know.
I think the funniest food would have been cotton candy.
Yeah, there you go.
Just because
there's sugar. That would be, yeah. It's hard. It's hard. There's this picture that's around social media and stuff. I think I might have even posted it at one point. But it's a picture of me. It's been recently, I think, either on my Instagram or my Facebook page, where I am holding a Domino's pizza box in front of me. I have then all the makeup. I still am in makeup and costume. I hadn't eaten basically all day. I was starving to death. And they gave me this cold pepperoni pizza. And I'm just like, It's a pretty picture. And then Mike Regan, who played the Chatterer and who also is a major makeup and effects guy who's worked closely with Gary Tunnicliffe for years and years and years. Love him. He's so great. He's so funny. He's the one who's also in the picture, plucking one of the pins off of the makeup at a time before they actually remove all of it. And
that's good.
It's a pretty funny picture, but yeah, you will destroy anything that's glued on around your mouth if you eat anything with oil.
So notes to people who are going to be in the movies to get stuff on their face. Straws. Bring straws and a blender.
Yeah. Or just say, you know what? We're using my own lips, so just make it work.
Yeah. Our friend Jack Locke, who's a great musician from around this way, says, what has been your favorite role to play so far in your entire career?
Pinhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
That was easy.
Oh, I mean, that's my favorite movie role. And yeah, I've done a lot of theater, and
we need to put you Pinhead on stage. Pinhead on ice.
I want to
be
do
great on Pinhead on ice.
I want to. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Hellraiser the musical.
I want to do Pinhead's Playhouse. Where I'm Pinhead from the neck up and Pee Wee Herman from the neck down, and it was just and the play.
Why?
Twisted.
Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? This is the most fabulous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it's the most incredible. in the world. I know it is, and I used to be a Pee Wee Herman impersonator, and and there you are, but what am I?
That's awesome.
Okay, so play. Anyway, yeah, it's ridiculous. I have talked to and they were interested, and then I never hear back from them again. And it's like, well, I'm not writing and producing. That's not my thing. It's an idea, and I would.
That should have been in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would really.
It needs to happen.
I agree. That needs to happen. That's a great combination.
The word is pain. There are memes with that on. That's a great idea.
The next question is from Dennis Highland again. He says, down the many avenues of creative work, we sometimes find ourselves blessed to be a part of something that is truly art, and other times we are simply creating content. Please tell us about a project that you hold near and dear to you and as like a proud moment, and please tell us about a real turd that you had to dig deep and get through it to deliver like a professional.
Okay, I'll talk about the good one first. It was just, it hasn't been released yet. It's probably going to be released through drive-ins. It's very disappointing that COVID hit when it did, because these guys really wanted to just take it to conventions and not conventions, festivals. And I think it would have done extremely well. It's a drama / sort of thriller called Whitetail. It's on my IMDb page. I played a very large role in it, larger than Pinhead. It's the biggest role I've ever had. Very dramatic stuff, very few laughs. Playing a real human being with really heavy heart. And a lot going on, and I'm so proud of it. And we've gotten really excellent feedback from people who do promote films, and so I know that it's going to be out there eventually, and I'm really thrilled about it. I'm really excited about it. So I'm looking forward to when that comes out. As far as a turd, I don't really want to talk about it. I can talk about. I don't want to single anything out, because I don't want to hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
Could you say was it an earlier thing, or has it been a later thing?
All right. Well, that's okay. Look. We're not gonna force you to say anything. That's fine. You don't want to. You want to say it. That's cool. It's no big deal. We'll move on to the next one.
There's definitely been some shit that I've done just for the money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just to be busy doing something. But I think any actor, besides Daniel Day-Lewis or Meryl Streep or anyone of that ilk,
Well, they all did shit too. Don't make it nice.
Everybody's eaten shit before in their life, buddy. So it's okay.
Actors will take the work.
So this one is from a friend of ours who is a up and coming film guy. He wants to be a director. He writes. He's done stuff. He's been film school and stuff. His name's Matt Robin. Really nice guy. He was a stand-up comedian for a while. But he says, so do you feel like once you were casted as Pinhead, that you were now typecast as a horror actor? And a lot of actors do multiple roles in the same genre, such as horror. Do you think that it's because it's a strong fan base, or is it just the actor taking the next role given to them? And also,
wow,
and the last thing he says is, "Will you please be in my movie?"
Let's answer the third question first. Probably.
There you go.
All you have to do is get in touch with me, or through my agent. That would be the Horn Agency, Jillian at thehornagency.net, I think it is. But look me up on IMDb. You can get all of my agent information and, send a script.
Sweet.
I'm not going to be without reading a script. And if there's no money at all, I'm not gonna do it. So other than that, those are my only things. Is
Makes
there?
sense.
I'm gonna go back. Could you ask the first question again, and just ask the first question and not the second one yet?
Sure. It says since you were cast as Pinhead, do you feel that
Do I feel? No, I do not feel like I've been stereotyped, or
typecast?
I feel typecast as a horror actor. Not that many people have actually seen Hellraiser Judgment. It's not. It's already inside of the horror world. It's already got its built-in fan base, which kind of goes into the second question as well. But it's not like I did this breakthrough, big budget picture where I became a huge star because I don't know, Buffalo Bill, whatever. I wasn't Chucky. I wasn't Freddy Krueger. I'm not Robert Englund. So it wasn't that big of a splash. It was a big splash within the Hellraiser community, and it was a big splash within a smaller perhaps splash within the horror community. Other than that, people weren't aware of it. So no, I don't feel like I've been typecast at all. I wouldn't mind being typecast. I love the fact that I've done quite a few horror films since then that I wasn't, that kind of thing I wasn't doing before. And I know that that's directly because of playing Pinhead, which is a wonderful thing, but I also did Whitetail after that. I also did a couple comedies after that. I prefer to think of myself as very versatile, and others will also describe me that way. I'm nothing like Pinhead in real life. I could do sitcom. There's all kinds of things that are unexplored that I can do that are unexplored in the Hellraiser Judgment. Yeah. What was the second question though?
The second part was, do you think that it's because of the strong fan base that that people keep going into doing another role for horror, or do you think it's just actors just saying, okay, well, I'll just take the job since there's, it's there?
Well, I think that it depends on the particular actor. There are a lot of actors who would take the next job and the next job and the next sequel and the next sequel and the next sequel for the paycheck. Because, we've seen it happen in a lot of 80s horror franchises. Enough said about that. But I'm sorry, and I'm grateful that that's ever happened with any of them. But the other part of that would be, gosh, this is getting hard to answer. What was the first part of that second question? I sound so intelligent.
No. It was just that. Do you think
it was a lot of questions?
Yeah, it was a whole big one. It was like, do you think it's just because of the strong fan base in horror?
That's right. That I didn't take the role of Pinhead because there was a strong fan base. I'm part of the strong fan base. I always was, but it's I just took it because it's a dream role,
right,
to play a horror monster. So
yeah,
I can't answer for other people though.
Right, that's true. We have two questions left. This is Dennis Highland again. He says, who was your biggest supporter when you decided to become an actor, and was there anyone that discouraged you from it?
My biggest, I got to discount my parents out of this equation because they really didn't want me to be an actor, because they were too practical for that. Just life choice. My biggest, at the same time, my mother was my biggest fan. She'd come to see me in theater, and she came to see. I think she made very long trips to see me in so many plays over the years. I can't even. And my dad too. It's funny because I grew up watching my dad do community theater, but he was not a professional actor. He put himself through dental school because he was brought up during the Depression, so that he could have, quote unquote, the American dream, which doesn't exist. But in the 50s and the 60s, all he knew was the Depression sucked, and let's have better things for our families.
Right.
So they discouraged me from doing it, but I was so stubborn, and I knew for myself that I couldn't do anything else, that nothing else would make me happy. But I'm still having trouble with that question. Who is my biggest supporter? There have been so many that it's hard to. I mean, at different phases in my life.
Right.
Maybe a different one for every decade of my life, actually, because you move along and you meet more people. And my sister, I would say, is a big supporter of me as an actor. It's, I guess, family. I could just but it's hard. It's hard for me to say, because then you go, yeah, but they really, were they? Because they didn't really think it was a smart choice for you. And
well, sometimes friends can be family too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've had some wonderful people in my life who have, when I'm down or when I'm feeling like I can't do something and I forget what a light I bring to the world, and that remind me of it. There's so many of those people, though, who will just not even get what I'm talking about when I'm being self-deprecating and using words like, well, I don't even want to say,
I don't blame you.
Don't have to.
We make choices in our lives, and some of them we can judge as being bad, some of them we can judge as being good. We can judge them as being right or wrong, but really, they're just choices, And I'm not able to answer who's my biggest supporter.
That's okay.
I guess I am, because I never stopped believing that this is what I was going to do. I still believe it, and I'm about to turn years old, and I'm now.
You'd never know you're 21.
Right.
Big birthday, and I still think, you know what? I have another 40 years to go. Well, 30. I have another 30 years to go, and there's a lot that I can accomplish in that much time.
That's how I feel too. Man. That's exactly how I feel. Well, here's the last one, the last question, and it's a doozy. All right, this is a doozy.
Not a doozy.
This is another one from the big one, Rusty, the guy who does our sports stuff, and he says, when you're about to get laid, do you stand up and say, "Shall we begin"?
If you don't, you should.
You know what? I'm so rarely in charge that
that's going to happen next time.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
The first thing you'll think of is you're going to stand up and go, "Motherfucker, I got that dude's question in my head."
Oh, I like it. But, it's going to have to depend on who I'm with,
Right.
Well, that was an interesting final question.
Well, that's why I put it at the end, because I thought it was hysterical. Like, I knew that was going to be a good one to end.
I'd rather just say, "Can we finish?" Actually,
I am tired. Let's make it quick. Look,
you're gonna eat that
before we're done here and we're getting out of here. We should be out here in a few minutes. I do have one question for myself personally. I happened to see this amazing photo of you online. Now look, last time you were on, Rum pulls out some audition tape that was floating around online that you didn't even know. And
I told her to take it back.
And
the thing for Young Frankenstein the musical, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And this time you actually posted this, and I saw this, and I have to ask, what is the Starlight Express?
Oh God, that picture, that costume, the Halloween costume.
Yes.
It's a musical. It's a Broadway musical written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and it was about trains, and all of the actors played trains, so they were on roller skates. And it's
This is from the 70s, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, very expensive musical, very silly, very pointless, with incredible costumes, and they built tracks all over the set, including going out into the audience.
Nice.
And so it was a big deal when it was on Broadway. And I haven't listened to the music in a very long time, but I found those costume pieces at I don't know if I put this in my post, but this is so funny. I found the bass and the armor looking things, the chest piece it was 1984, 85, I don't know. A lot of gay men were dying, and I found it at a garage sale that the mother of a dead drag queen was having. Apparently these costumes had been in one of this drag queen shows. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. And then I turned it into that costume because it was a Tony Award winning musical, and right. It was a big deal. Plus it just made a really fun costume.
It looks amazing, dude. When I saw that picture, I was like, it's incredible.
I actually saw a small town production of that musical when I was probably 16 or 17 years old.
How do you do that?
It was
a roller rink?
Was absolutely It was at Castle Roller Rink, and they set up bleachers like you would have in a high school around the edge of it, and it was kind of like if you were watching an ice skating show but on roller skates. It was hysterical.
And this was community theater?
Yes, community theater.
Starlight Express? Oh.
Which was really funny because then they did, oh my gosh, it was something. Oh, that was 1 month. Right after that was the whitest cast of The Wiz you've ever seen.
No. No. Do the Wizard of Oz. If you're Wizard of Oz.
Yes, it was The Wiz.
Oh my God.
It was hysterical.
Oh my God.
Wiz lives matter. Come on. That's ridiculous.
So, Mr.
God, I love The Wiz though, man. What a great musical. I can see why I want to do it, but there's no way I'd be in. There's no way. They didn't wear blackface. Tell me they didn't.
I am not going to say whether they did or not.
That's a question that says yes.
Not say it. There was a very authentic Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Wait now. Now, there could have been two different Michael Jacksons now. It could have been the alien one that died or the one that was black.
No, it was the one from The Wiz.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Because my hometown, well, not my hometown, but the town right next to my hometown, was very light.
Got you.
It was very light town. So to put on The Wiz, it was an homage. The best form of flattery is imitation.
I love the fact that you were so.
That's what they say.
That you were so politically correct about that. It was light. It was light. I mean, the whole town was white. Okay, that's what you meant.
No, I didn't say that. I said it was very light.
Okay.
There was a nice Latin family that had a grocery.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the bodega twins didn't show up, so we had to do what we had to do.
So
there have probably been white casts of Porgy and Bess. I would not have. And then we have the people who have produced or directed or are in the show actually standing up for themselves and legitimizing it and saying, well, how come all the black people get the good roles?
Right.
Like, man, have you ever heard of white privilege? It's so great. There's plenty of stuff for the white people to do, But
if you want to pay your respects,
yes.
If you want to pay your respects, I think the next one up should be Roots, maybe. I don't know. It should be coming.
We should redo Roots, but call it Plants.
And
just be the top parts of it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
I don't even.
I think
Like, I love his face. He's like, you guys are fucking crazy, man.
there's a line. There's a line, Wayne.
My bad.
I forgot you guys can see me. So-
It's okay. It's all right. I completely understand.
But anyway, I think this was an amazing interview.
I do too.
I think a lot of questions were answered, and a lot have been. Now people are going to be scratching their heads on some of them.
Oh, yeah, I have to say something about Hellraiser Judgment.
Yes, you do.
It's being released in the UK March 1st. So
March 1st,
the UK release. Lionsgate UK. You should, follow them on Instagram or whatever. I don't know. But it's going to be DVD and Blu-ray and also streaming. So, I mean,
awesome.
People can download it and keep it. And it's very exciting. I'm just hoping that I get bigger residual checks now.
That's really cool,
because
man.
I think Mad Mart Flanagan is going to be one of the first ones to
Mark's going to be out there
download
pushing
that
it
for
for
sure.
you.
That's cool. I'm just so glad finally. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's Hellraiser. The Hellraiser world came from the UK. It should have. How many years ago was it put out? Like 4 years, 5 years ago?
Yeah,
I don't even know. But for it to finally be in the UK, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hopefully it attracts people to me. I mean, like convention work. I got to go to London Film and Comic Con a few years ago when it was still a new movie, but I haven't been to the UK since, and I really hope that maybe that will contribute to my international travel.
That'd be very cool.
There you go.
Let everybody on here know where they can find you, or like your website and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm at 2240 Main Street in Tucson, Arizona. Can't remember the zip code right now. But if they want to I'm so funny. If they want to get me on social media, Instagram is The Real Paul T. Taylor because everyone wants to be me. So I had to say The Real because, because you got
to keep it real. Right.
Keep it real. Just keeping it real. And I have a fan page, Paul T. Taylor, on Facebook, and I have a regular page on Facebook, but I mean, that's like my regular Facebook page, so I'd rather you go to my fan page. Anyway, and I have a website where you can buy autographed photos, or you can just go there and you can look at like stuff from. I have I have my reels on there, and I have my some scenes from Hellraiser Judgment that are kind of fun to watch for free. But that's PaulTTaylor.com. That's the other one.
Very cool, man.
Cool website. I like it.
Well, and since the Young Frankenstein audition tape has been taken down, if you do have a copy of that hold on to it because that's going to skyrocket.
Yes, value of that will go up.
Nothing but up.
Oh, yeah, nope. Not happening. I never heard back from them, by the way. I really wanted to play Igor.
I think that would have been great.
That would have been great, dude. Anyway, everybody, thank you all for joining us. And I was your host, Wayne.
I am the Rum Guy.
And I am Paul Taylor.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to keep it metal!
Adieu, parting with such sweet sorrow.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Okay then.
That's it.
Get the fuck